I got music videos. Got music now. Got music. Moving up. Moving up with this. It's another Sunday live show. I didn't do this last Sunday because, well, we were out of town and I didn't have time to. And I got back late enough and I was like, you know what? It's too damn late to do anything live on Instagram. And it was a 4th of July weekend. So I just said, heck with it. Heck with it. You just tuning in? Hi, it's Riggs. And I've decided to start doing something off of the radio outside of my regular radio show on Houston, Texas with Riggs, Caitlin, and Erica weekday mornings. Decided to do something on my own Sunday nights. And today we're talking about, well, your brain and how your brain was made to keep you alive. And that's about it. That's it, friends. That's really it. Because you know something, you are not your thoughts. And your thoughts, they're events. They're not facts. Think about that for a second. Your thoughts, they are events. They are not facts. Like how many times have you had something going on in your brain where you just kind of put together the story on your own and you just made up a scenario in your brain? Happens a lot, right? Happens all the time. I do it all the time. I'll tell you that much. You don't have to believe everything that you think. That's kind of the purpose, the thread that's going through this whole episode today. Stringing from positive psychology. We'll talk a little bit about how you can not have to deal with those thoughts all the time. I mean, you have to deal with your thoughts. You got to be in your head a little bit, but how you can not let them control you so much. Like, if you ever got a text from your boss that says, "Can you step into my office?" How much are you filling in the blanks there? How much are you going through your head thinking, okay, what did I do wrong? Why does my boss want to see me right now? Or you've thought in a relationship, your partner says, "Hey, I want to come see you." How many times does your brain start filling in what might be happening? And how many times does your brain go to the worst case scenario? It happens all the time. They're mad at me. They're upset with something. They've got to give critical feedback. I might be getting fired. They might be breaking up with me. I forgot to do something. You always go to the negative. Today, we're talking about the most freeing thing I've ever thought about, and is that you are not your thoughts. You just aren't. Like, your brain is just trying to help. It's trying to fill in the gaps of all the unknowns that you have. Maybe you have that phone call coming up with, maybe it's a partner, or maybe it's your son or your daughter, or maybe it's your grandparents, maybe it's a doctor giving you information about a health report. I mean, we are always constantly filling in the blanks of the unknown, and we never fill in the positive. You never think, wow, my boss needs to see me this week because I've been doing a good job. I've been crushing it. They probably want to give me a promotion. Maybe they want to give me some kudos. Maybe your boss just wants to know what kind of coffee you were drinking this morning, where you got it, and how they can get their own cup. I mean, we always go to the negative. Like, for example, when I was moving to Houston from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, my brain started going to the negative a lot, right? Because I'm thinking, I've been on a top 40 station for my whole life in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 13 years there, 13 years in Milwaukee. But my whole radio career, I've always been around top 40 music. So I've always been playing the Lady Gagas, the Sabrina Carpenters, 21 Pilots, Linkin Park, all the top 40 stuff. That's been my whole life. Every single radio station I've worked at has been some form of top 40 relevant pop music. So going to Houston was not only going to a bigger city, but it was also going to a completely different format. I was going from top 40 music to country music. That's a big leap. Like, I can name facts about pop music off the top of my head. I can tell you about the Black Eyed Peas, Justin Timberlake, the Backstreet Boys. I can talk about LFO. I can talk about old school stuff. But I can't do that with country music. So that's frightening, right? So here I am knowing that a radio station in Houston, Texas is pursuing me for a job. And I know that they want me for the job because they've been reaching out, they've been emailing, they've been calling, but still throughout the whole process, there's something in my brain that kept filling in the negatives blanks. It kept saying things like, you're probably not going to be good enough. There's probably somebody else out there that's going to be way better for this job than you are. Caitlin and Erica are not going to get along with you. You're going to be too nice, or you're going to be rude to them somehow. Like, everything was going to the negative. They're not going to like you. You're not going to be good enough. You're not ready for a big market like Houston, Texas. My brain never filled in the good things. It never said, you're going to crush it. It never looked back and dug onto my experience and said, you know what, you're going to be just fine. It's just like doing a radio show anywhere else. You're just doing it in a bigger city with a different format. My brain would never do that. So, like, it happens to everybody. It's even happened to me. So I'm wondering, what's something that your brain convinced you was true, or something that turned out to be completely false? And look at this today. I've got a phone number. I think it could work. 346-454-1451. I've hooked up the flip phone to my Rodecaster, and I don't know if it's going to work, but if you try to call me, we can certainly see if it works. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. 346-454-1451. God, I hope I put the right number in. So if it rings, bear with me, and I'll see if I can put somebody on the phone. But I'll leave it up there for a second. But have you ever rehearsed an argument in your head that never happened with somebody, where you knew you had to have an argument or a disagreement with somebody, and then all of a sudden you started rehearsing this whole thing in your head? Or how many nights have you lost sleep about something that was happening the next morning and then woken up and gone through it to realize that it wasn't that bad at all? It was not. It never is. It's never as bad as we think it is. It's always just it's our brain playing tricks on us. It's exactly what it is, because your brain isn't giving you evidence. Your brain is just putting together the worst case scenario. And sometimes the negative is the easiest to do. It's the simplest way to go with the negative. You just hop in with all the bad things that might happen. They're not going to like me. They're going to fire me. Your brain fills in that blanks. It doesn't gather any evidence. It's just in fight or flight mode. So remember that. You are not your thoughts. Okay? Look at that. Somebody's calling right now. I wonder if this is even going to work. I have no idea. Hello?
It said to call the show.
Who's this?
This is Rob.
Rob. You can always trust in Rob to call. Was it Rob in Pearland?
Rob in Pearland.
Oh my God. How are you, sir?
Man, I can't complain.
Rob, is your brain...
It was the first thing that popped up on my timeline.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love live streaming. It works so well. Rob, has your brain ever convinced you that something was true and it turned out to be completely wrong?
Yeah, pretty often, actually. My wife corrects me pretty often.
You're just the one that jumps to conclusions about all the things in your life?
Well, I remember things that I think happened that may have not actually happened.
Okay. What do you mean?
A lot.
What do you mean by that?
Maybe give me an example. No, like conversations that I had with my wife, I'd be like, I told you all about this, and then this happened. She's like, that never happened.
Oh, you just
not one time.
You embellish things a little bit? Is that what you do?
I think my wife would say I embellish things a little bit. I'm kind of a storyteller. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're absolutely a storyteller. For those that don't know, Rob in Pearland calls our show pretty much every morning. We can depend on him. Rob is dependable, and that's what I love about you. You've got great stories, and you're a dependable guy, Rob.
I appreciate that. Most of the stories are true.
Most of them are true. Does that mean you make some of them up?
No, I've never made up a story on your show.
Okay, good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, not on your show. I mean, in my life, I've made up stories from time to time, but I've never made up a story on the zoo.
But have you ever had a meeting coming up with somebody, or maybe a difficult conversation coming up, maybe with your wife, and you start filling in the blanks in your head of what you think might happen?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's nodding her head like in the background right now.
See, she knows you do this.
Yeah. Oh no, because then I'll say, "Well, don't say this," and she's like, "Don't tell me what I'm going to say."
So you're good at predicting the future a little bit with your wife.
I think so. I think she would probably disagree. I can't read her face right now, but I think she would disagree.
Do you ever have negative thoughts running through your brain? You're a very happy guy. You're a pretty positive guy. Do you ever have negative stuff running through your brain? What does that sound like in Rob's head?
Oh, constantly. I have not to get too personal, but I actually suffer from PTSD.
Okay. Thank you for being honest with that. That's not too personal at all. There's probably other people out there that have the same thing. Do you know what?
It's okay to struggle sometimes, people.
Absolutely. How do you manage your PTSD now that you know that you have it? What are some steps? What are some things that you do to keep it under control? Like, do you know where your triggers are and things like that?
Not really. I mean, I just when I start to get kind of down, I just basically try to think of more positive things and distract myself with other things.
Would you say maybe gratitude is something you practice?
No.
No?
Not at all. I just try to enjoy the moment, and it usually helps. You know what I mean?
So you center yourself when those things happen. Your mind starts to race.
I try to. Some days it's easier than others.
Okay. Have you gone to a therapist before, Rob? Ever gone to therapy?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
For quite a while.
That's so good to hear another guy that goes to therapy. It's hard to find men out there that are willing to be open about their feelings, let alone go to therapy. So
my wife convinced me a few years ago, and it was honestly one of the best things I ever did.
To go to therapy?
Oh, absolutely.
What's one of the biggest tools that you learned from therapy, from being in there?
I don't think I learned any tools specifically. It helped me understand that it's okay to feel certain things, and that it also helped me realize that more of things that I've had happen in my life were traumatic that I just never really saw as traumatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know that it gave me tools for coping as much. I just try to smile. Just try, like I said, if I'm having a bad day, I try to find something to enjoy and enjoy the moment.
Right. But you kind of, you know that your thoughts are kind of automatic and you don't really have to believe every single thought that pops in your head. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yes.
Like even if those even if those thoughts are popping in your head, it doesn't make them true.
No. And you also, you kind of just got to understand that it's in your head, and you got to, you are able to get past it. You're the only one that can figure out the solution. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're in control of your thoughts. Your thoughts aren't in control of you.
That's it.
That's it. Rob, thank you for calling up this. I almost said this morning, but it's like almost 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, isn't it?
I guess I just opened Facebook. We just left the drag show at Christmas in July, and I opened up Facebook, and it was the first thing up there. And I was like, I'll call.
Christmas in July drag show. Well, thank you you've been my guinea pig. You made sure it worked. I can now take live calls on my show. This is fantastic.
That's pretty awesome. Well, if you get some free time, I'll send you over. I did a podcast last year about some of the things that trigger my PTSD with a friend of mine. I'll send you over a link so you can listen to it if you get inclined.
Oh, that's great. I would love to hear it.
All right. I'll send it over to you here this evening sometime.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rob.
No problem.
You know how to get in touch with me. You know how to get in touch with me. Have a good one, man. Look at that.
All right, bye.
The old flip phone worked. Look at that. Rob and Pearline. I knew I'd get somebody to call on the show. So I guess Rob kind of took us on a little bit of a different path. That's all right. That's what live calls are going to do. Might take us down a different path. But one thing, going back to kind of our thoughts, and Rob and I brought up kind of a good point, is that your thoughts are automatic, and then believing your thoughts, that's the optional part, because you're going to have those thoughts all the time. We have so many thoughts every day. You're probably having them right now. Why am I watching this guy? Where do I know him from? Don't I have other things to do? Monday's going to suck. This is going to be the worst week of my life. There's so many thoughts you could possibly have, but choosing to believe them, that's where you can really draw a difference between actually believing those thoughts or just putting them to bed and saying, you know what, it's interesting that I'm having that thought. I'm allowed to have that thought, and then moving on, because you don't have to believe that thought. Like, I can have the thought that nobody's watching this podcast. I can have the thought that nobody cares about me even saying these words right now. That doesn't mean that it's true. That means there could be one or two people that are listening out there right now. I didn't think that anybody would call. And then look at that. Lo and behold, Rob called the show. I didn't think didn't think anybody was going to call today. I was like, this is dumb. I'm throwing this out into a void. Nobody watches on social media anyways. I'm not on the radio. I'm just on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. Maybe someone will watch. Maybe someone will watch. Maybe someone won't. I don't know. I can't control what's going on out there. All I can do is send the message out and see what comes back. So instead of saying, like, I'm going to fail, I'm not going to have any calls, I say something like, I'm having the thought that I'm going to fail. I'm having the thought that nobody's going to call the show. That doesn't mean that it's true. That just means that I'm having the thought. So what you do then is you're labeling that thought as what it is. It's just a thought, because it's in, it's out, it's gone. There's still people watching right now. There's still somebody listening right now. You're right there listening right now, aren't you? There's still someone that called the show. You know what? Hell, somebody else might call the show if I put the phone number up there, but nobody's going to call if I don't ask. Right there, 346-454-1451. So the next time you're having a negative thought, instead of saying, I am dumb or I am stupid, try saying, I'm having the thought that I'm dumb. I'm having the thought that I'm stupid right now. That creates space, and it reminds you that a thought is not an automatic reality. It's just a thought. That's all that it is. That's all that it is. It's just your thoughts. And I know it seems simple. You're like, well, duh, that's easier said than done. But it's definitely something you got to practice, right? Like, I did a stand-up comedy show last year. I've done a couple here and there, but I did about 10, 15 minutes, and I opened for my friend Kua Genti. Great guy, my favorite African, funny dude. But I was pretty terrified going up there, because I'm standing up on stage in front of people who showed up to see comedians, not just a radio guy. I mean, I think that I'm kind of funny, but radio is a lot like this. Like I can say things, but I don't know if you're laughing. I don't know what your reactions are to what I'm saying right now. I can't hear anything. All I can hear is my voice. I can't see your body language. I can't see you roll your eyes at me. I can't see you do anything. I just got to go with the flow. Stand up comedy is a totally different machine. Now, instead of doing all that in a box, talking to myself, I've got to stand up on a stage in front of 200 people and hope that they think that I'm funny because they paid to be at this show. Now I'm having thoughts. What if I'm not funny enough? What if I fail? What if my jokes don't land? What if all these things don't happen? None of that was serving me any purpose. None of it at all. What if I'm not funny? Who cares if I'm not funny? The next person will be funny. Maybe they laughed at the person before me. What's the worst that can happen? Because we spend so much time worrying about what other people think that we forget that everybody else is so much caught up in thinking about themselves that they don't have time to think about you. Everybody else is already way too busy thinking about themselves. They don't have time to think about you. They don't have time to pay attention to the little things, the little zit you might have on your face, to the little blemish that you have, to the little stain you may have on your shirt, to the fact that you flubbed on a couple words. Nobody's paying attention to that. They're paying attention to themselves. They're all worried about what's going on in their lives. And the same with you. You're too consumed with yourself that you're worried about what everybody else thinks all the time. But again, they're just your thoughts. And your thoughts are not real. They're just your thoughts that are going on up in your brain. So try that next time. Instead of having the thought when you realize you're having a negative thought, try labeling it right there. And instead of saying what you're actually thinking, say that you were having the thought that you were thinking this thing. I'm having the thought that I'm going to fail. I'm having the thought that I'm not going to be funny. I'm having the thought that people are going to stop watching. I'm having the thought that people are going to turn the channel. That way you're just labeling the thought and you're saying exactly what it is. It's a thought. It's not evidence. It's not grounded in anything other than the fact that you're having a thought. I was going to go to another riddle today, by the way. And I have sound effects in case you want some. Riggs random riddle of the day. This is the riddle of the day. I speak with a mouth. Excuse me. I got to say this again. I speak without a mouth. I can tell the truth or a lie. You hear me every day, but I only exist if you listen. What is that? It's the Riggs random riddle for today. I speak without a mouth. I can tell the truth or a lie. You hear me every day, but I only exist if you listen. What am I? The answer is your inner thoughts. How fitting. Your inner thoughts. Look at that. Let me read it again. You can speak without a mouth, your inner thoughts. Tell the truth or a lie. That's your inner thoughts. It can say something nice or bad. You can hear it every day, your inner thoughts, your inner monologue, but it only exists if you listen to it. And that is your inner thoughts, your inner dialogue. It's perfect for today's conversation because our thoughts never stop talking. But we get to decide how much authority that we give those thoughts, right? We get to decide. That's empowering when you think about it that way. You're in control of the thoughts instead of the thoughts being in control of you, like I said earlier with Rob. That's powerful. When you start thinking about things that way and you realize that these are just passing, fleeting thoughts that are soon going to go away. I mean, everybody has intrusive thoughts. How many times have you been driving the car and thinking, what if I just turn this car off the road? What if I just drove into an embankment? Sometimes you've had those thoughts. Doesn't mean you do it, though. Like you've had the thought when you're on a boat and you're on your cell phone. What if my cell phone just dropped off and went into the ocean? Crazy intrusive thought, right? You're not going to really throw your phone into the ocean, are you? You're not going to let that happen. You're holding on to that thing with a death grip, even if it is a crappy flip phone. You hold on to it with a death grip. You're not really going to let it go. We have so many intrusive thoughts. And think about those, the silliest ones ever. The silly intrusive thoughts that we have. Just dismiss them. How many people, healthy people, never have to worry about negative thoughts? It's not true. Even unhealthy people never have to worry about it. Everybody has to worry about our negative thoughts. We all do. We all deal with them every single day. It's just how we react to them and how we choose to perceive them. Okay? Those are our thoughts. I can go back to even like an emotional thought that I was having when we lost our dog Samson. I had so many intrusive thoughts throughout that. And anybody that's put down a dog, that's had to send a dog to the Rainbow Bridge, you know exactly what I'm thinking about. When that moment comes, your brain goes 1,000 miles an hour. Like, is it the right time? Should we wait until the next time to put down the dog? Is this too soon? Are we making the right decision? Is it hurting him? Is all of those things, they're all going through your head. But at the end of the day, you know you're making the right decision for your animal. You've given them the beautiful life that they have, and you are choosing to not let them have pain anymore. So you know you've given them an awesome life. You look at all the pictures, you look at the videos you've had with your dog, and you realize, is it maybe too soon? Maybe. Or maybe you could wait too long and then you regret the decision altogether. I mean, we've had those thoughts as well. Like, if we would not have made the decision when we took Samson to the ER that night, then we would have waited another day, felt horrible. Is he in more pain? Are we causing him more pain? No, we don't want to do any of that. But those intrusive thoughts, they happen all the time. They're constantly going and they're emotional. They happen at the best and worst times of our lives. But those were all there because I loved my dog. They were there with my wife too. They were there because we loved our dog. They were there for a reason. So all of our thoughts are there for a reason. It's just whether or not we allow them to become reality in our lives. And we don't have to when we label them. So the next time you're having those negative thoughts, those intrusive thoughts, it's, I'm having the thought that blank. I'm having the thought that this is terrible. I'm having the thought that I'm not going to be able to live after making this decision. That's not true. That's just not true. You're having the thought, and it's okay to have the thought. Thoughts are there. They're going to happen. They're going to pop in all the time. You just have to label them and redirect them in your mind so that they don't become reality. Because if you dwell on them too hard, it just starts to suck you down, man. It just starts to drag you down. Not every single thought deserves your attention. It's another thing, you know? Sometimes you can just let it go by, like those intrusive thoughts we have with our cell phone on the edge of a bridge. Am I going to let my phone drop in there? No. But I'm going to think about it the whole time when I'm standing there taking a picture with my arm over the edge, right down there, 20 feet down into the water. I'm going to think that the whole time. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Doesn't mean it's true. So, what are we going to do with all this tomorrow morning? So, this one week, I want you to try and catch a negative thought. And then before you believe it, stop it and say, I'm having the thought that blank. Try that. Try that when you're having a negative thought this week and start labeling those negative thoughts. Maybe even keeping a little notepad of how many times you have them. Because if you have the same recurring one, then start thinking, why? Why do I keep having this recurring thought? Don't just fight it. Like, notice it. Notice it, what's going on. Notice those thoughts happening. Don't push them away, but just say, look, I'm having the thought right now that I'm not attractive. I'm having the thought right now that I'm not going to be able to crush it at work today. You're just having thoughts. That's all that they are, is thoughts. Now, what you choose to do afterwards, that's up to you. You don't have to believe every single thing that you think. Your thoughts are not the enemy. Your thoughts, they're just visitors in your brain. Some of them deserve a conversation. Some of them deserve a little, thanks for sharing with me. But let them walk right back out the door. Let the thoughts come in your mind, acknowledge them, greet them, and then show them the door. Most of them just deserve to be shown the way out because a lot of the times our brain fills in the negative before we go to the positive. It's just easier to do it that way. It's way easier to envision. I go in, my boss fires me. I go in, my girlfriend or boyfriend, my wife, they're going to divorce me. They're breaking up with me. It's easier to think the negative and go to there because that is easy. It's harder to think I'm going to do well. It's harder to think I'm a good looking person. It's harder to think maybe they just want to tell me they love me. Maybe they just want to give me kudos on my job. It's hard to think that way. It is. I didn't think they'd say it's going to be easy. But once you start training your brain to start recognizing these thoughts when they happen, you can say, huh, that's an interesting thought, and then move on. And it's really going to be as simple as that. As soon as that negative thought crosses your head, acknowledge it, label it, say, I'm having the thought that, and then move on. That's an important difference between believing your thoughts and then just listening to them and showing them the door. So there you go. Your thoughts, they're going to happen, man. It's going to happen to all of us. We're all going to have thoughts. I'm having them right now. I'm having the thought, am I going too long? I'm having the thought, should I shut up and just end this stream right now? Have enough people watched? Will enough people watch this later? Will my AI program pull the correct clips that I can post and promote this? Is this thing ever going to, is this little podcast even going to take off? I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I'm having the thoughts that this might fail. I'm having the thoughts that I may have been talking for too long. I'm having the thought that nobody's watching right now. Those are all just thoughts. And now I'm going to let those thoughts leave, and I'm going to let you leave as well because I've taken enough of your time. So thank you for watching. Maybe I'll see you next week. Hopefully, I've helped you handle some of your Sunday scaries for today, and I appreciate you being with me. Maybe I'll talk to you in the morning if you're listening in Houston with the, I think we're on all the different apps. We got a 93Q app as well. Tomorrow, Riggs, Caitlin, and Erica, the three of us, we're all going to be out for the Operation Hydration, collecting bottled water for the city of Houston that's going to Star of Hope. Our Star of Hope's a great organization. And all day tomorrow on 93Q here in Houston, we'll be at a Kroger in Pearland on Shadow Creek Parkway collecting bottled water. Last year, we collected 20,000 bottles of bottled water, 20,000 bottles last year. So hoping to crush that this year, giving back, doing some good because it gets hot down here in Houston. And Star of Hope does some amazing work with the homeless men and women and children in our community. They house them, they give them hope, they give them purpose, they give them job training, they get them back out into the real world. They do a lot of good work. And bottled water is something that is always useful in the city of Houston, especially in July. And tomorrow is 713 Day. For those of you who live in Milwaukee, it's similar to 414 Day. It's a celebration of Houston because 713, one of the original area codes of Houston, Harris County proper. So on 713 Day, this is how we celebrate, by giving back to the city of Houston, doing our Operation Hydration Water Drive. So if you're in the Houston area and you are in the Pearland area, stop by and say hello. You can go to our website. It's 93qcountry.com for all the info on the Star of Hope. That's where I'll be tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Maybe I'll talk to you next week if things go well. Who knows? Have a beautiful day. And I guess make good life decisions. Thanks for watching or listening or both.